All right, today we're going to get into the science of boosting your brain power. We're breaking down a really in-depth review from Overall Health on a pretty popular nootropic supplement. We want to see what's really going on behind all those claims of better focus and memory. So yeah, let's dive right in.
I mean, it's something we've all felt, right? That little wish that your brain just had an upgrade button. You know, for sharper mind, better focus, or just enough mental gas in the tank to get through the day. Well, that exact feeling, that quest, is what's behind this massive interest in a whole class of supplements called nootropics.
So, here's how we're going to tackle this. First, we'll look at the big why. Why are so many people looking for this mental edge? Then, we're going to get right into the formula itself, see how the ingredients are supposed to boost memory, fight off stress, and even protect your brain long term. And then, of course, we'll wrap up with the article's final verdict.
Okay, so let's set the stage a little. Why are so many of us reaching for supplements like these? Honestly, it really just boils down to trying to keep up, right? Just trying to stay sharp and focused in a world that feels like it's always demanding more and more of our mental energy.
The article we're looking at gives us a really clear definition. Nootropics are basically supplements made to enhance your cognitive function. And the specific one we're digging into today is called MindVitality. What's kind of interesting about this one is that it's designed to give you all these benefits without using stimulants like caffeine.
So, what's under the hood? At the heart of this thing are 17 distinct natural ingredients. And the review does something really smart. It groups them all by what they do. It's almost like a little team of specialists for your brain, and that's exactly how we're going to break it all down.
All right, first up, the cognitive enhancers. You could kind of call these the heavy hitters of the group. These are the ingredients that the article says are all about directly boosting memory, learning, and focus. So let's see what the research, at least as it's cited in this review, actually has to say.
So, kicking things off, we've got this ancient herb called Bacopa monnieri. Now, this isn't some new fad. This plant has been a cornerstone in traditional Ayurvedic medicine for literally centuries, and it was prized for one big reason: its ability to sharpen the mind.
Okay, now this is where it gets really cool. The active compounds in this herb, they're called bacchosides, are believed to improve the communication between our brain cells. So think of it like upgrading your brain's internal Wi-Fi. And the review points to a specific study where the group taking it had some really significant memory gains compared to a placebo group.
Next on the list is lion's mane. It's this really unique-looking medicinal mushroom that's been getting a ton of buzz lately. The article points out that it has potential for two things: cognitive enhancement, of course, but also neuroprotection. And all that really means is it helps shield your brain cells from damage.
And here we can see how it's supposed to work. The compounds inside lion's mane are believed to stimulate something called nerve growth factor, or NGF. The best way to think about NGF is like fertilizer for your brain cells, helping them grow and stay healthy. The article even brings up a study from the Journal of Medicinal Food that found, you guessed it, significant cognitive improvements. But wait, there's more. The formula also packs in this whole team of other focus boosters. And as you can see, they're all aiming for the same goal, a sharper mind, but they all come at it from a slightly different angle. For instance, a bunch of these, like huperzine A and choline, work on increasing a key brain chemical from memory called acetylcholine. Then you've got something like L-theanine, which is really cool because it promotes that feeling of calm alertness. It's kind of like the focus you get from green tea, but without any of the jitters.
Okay, so you've got ingredients to sharpen your focus. That's great, but what happens when life throws stress at you and that focus goes out the window? Well, that's where this next group of ingredients comes into play. They're called adaptogens, and their whole job is to help your brain become more resilient, to handle stress better, and to fight off that feeling of mental fatigue.
And the review really hones in on two powerhouse adaptogens, rhodiola rosea and ashwagandha. Both of these have been used for centuries, and for the exact same reason: to help the body adapt and respond to both physical and mental stress.
And this breaks it down really nicely. On one side, you've got rhodiola, which studies suggest can help with that feeling of just mental burnout. Then on the other side, ashwagandha has been shown in research to actually lower feelings of stress and anxiety. And the key takeaway here is pretty simple, right? A less stressed out brain is a much more focused brain.
Okay, I really like this quote from the article because it's just so practical. It pulls out a study on pine bark extract. It looks specifically at students during exams. I mean, you can't get much more high stress than that. And it found the extract actually improved their cognitive performance. How cool is that?
And to round out this whole stress support team, the article also mentions L-tyrosine. It's an amino acid that helps your brain stay flexible and perform better when you're under pressure. And then, of course, there's Panic's ginseng, another classic herb that's been used forever to help with working memory and fight that mentally drained feeling.
Okay, so we've talked about boosting focus and managing stress. The final piece of the puzzle, at least according to this review, is all about the fundamentals. We're talking about protecting the brain from damage and giving it the essential fuel it needs to stay healthy for the long haul.
And you just can't talk about brain fuel without talking about B vitamins. It's impossible. This table from the article does a fantastic job of showing why they matter so much. You've got B2 helping with energy, B6 helping create those critical brain chemicals, and B12 protecting the very wiring of our nervous system. Bottom line, they are all absolutely essential.
Now here's a really fascinating comparison the article brings up. You've probably heard of resveratrol, right? The famous antioxidant from grapes. Well, there's this other compound called pterostilbene, which is similar. But here's the kicker. According to the source, it has much better bioavailability. That just means your body can absorb and use it way more effectively. And that's why it was chosen for this form.
And to wrap up the foundational ingredients, the article points to two more pillars. First is magnesium. This mineral is vital for something called synaptic plasticity, which is a fancy way of saying it helps our brain's connections change and grow. You know, the very basis of learning and memory. And second is vitamin D3, which pretty much acts like a guardian for our brain, helping to protect it.
Okay, so after that massive deep dive into all 17 ingredients, what's the big picture? What's the final takeaway from this overall health review? It's time to get to the verdict.
The review basically boils the whole approach down to these 4 key benefits. And the idea is pretty clear. It's not just about one single thing like focus. It's about a combined synergistic effect. You've got enhancing your cognition, reducing stress, getting that stimulant-free energy, and protecting your brain for the future.
So ultimately, the main point of the article's conclusion is this idea of a holistic approach. It really sees this formula as a marriage between traditional wisdom, using these herbs that have been trusted for centuries, and modern science, bringing in compounds that we've only studied more recently.
And all of that leaves us with one last big question to chew on. As we're all looking for ways to optimize our minds, is this kind of blend, this mix of ancient wisdom and modern science, is that the future of cognitive enhancement? It's definitely something to think about. Hey, thanks for joining me for this breakdown.